Good morning, simple life, simple trading life traders. Hope everyone's having a great morning. We are about a minute 30 seconds from the opening bell. And as you can see, price action today, I should say overnight and then into today, we seen some weakness right out of the gate. Obviously, that was because of President Trump's speech and the violence that ensued last night. Then we put in a little structure here. You maybe even say a double bottom. Then we got this strong move to the upside right up to our 30.76 resistance level. And from that point, we've actually been selling off. So from about 5:30 in the morning, we have been selling off and we're almost back down to the 20, which makes a lot of sense, right? We always talk about if price moves in too steep of a direction, you get away from the 20, price wants to come back to the 20 and at least retest it, okay? If not, break through it. Now, this is not a hugely wide distance from the 200 to the 20. Okay, so I'm not as concerned. Now that doesn't mean we're not going to come all the way back. I drew this trend line. This is just a recent trend line. If I go backwards, actually let's do this. Okay, now you can see it a little bit better. All right, it's just a recent trend line where price has kind of been coming back and forth. So I put that there just in case if we break through. Let me remove this. Okay, if we break through, we'll know what we're looking at. All right, so we are going to see where we go on opening price here. We opened at 30.6225. So let me draw our new level in, 30.6225. Edit properties. And the whole goal of this recording is so that you can kind of get my thoughts as I watch the price action play out in real time. Let's extend this. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can see we came right down to the 20. Now, will we make a reversal or will we go below? Okay, now over here is my Trade-of-8 platform. So watching to see, okay, as you can see, got the same things on here, and I have VWAP on here as well. Okay, so we're right there to the 20. Now, are we going to bounce off the 20 and start back up, or are we going to break through and head lower? Right? And I can just keep going back and forth. You can see we're starting to get below, down here to the 30.5725 support area. Obviously, we know frequently, okay, the 30.5725. So that was right there. We're already moving back up. We know that frequently the initial move, once the bell rings, is not the direction they plan on taking it early. So right now, just watching to see. Again, we know this level right here, 30.5725 is a support. Okay, are we going to bounce and start heading back up? Okay, right now we are. Okay, I tried, but let's see, could not catch more than just that little. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Want to be careful. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but it does tell me when an order is filled or if a stop hits, so on and so forth. So I was a little bit slow on the trigger there. I meant to move my stop up to 50 and I didn't get it done. I found out something yesterday. If you look on the DOM here, let's say I enter and price starts this direction. and I put my stop at 12.50 in profit. Here's exactly what happened yesterday that I did not know. So price all of a sudden started spiking upwards and was up over 200 in profit. So, and it happened really fast. So I took my stop, and you can drag and drop them. Well, I tried to drag my stop up to around 150, 175 because price had already went up to like $200 in profit. Well, what had happened is at the same exact time, this started coming back down. And if you are in the process of dragging it and you hit where the current price is, you don't get the current price. It fills you where your stop was. So even though it was clear up around 200 to 175 in profit, it filled me at 12.50. You have to, when you drag and drop, you have to release it at a price level, and then it'll come down through, and obviously it has to consume the orders at that price level. So because I hadn't dropped it yet, when I hit this, when I got to where price was, so again, I would have been way down here, and I had set my stop at 12.50, and I was trying to drag it and drop it just to see how price is moving away from me. I tried to drag it and drop it up around 175, 150, and price was up around 200. Well, at the same exact time, price started coming back towards me, and I hit this while I still was dragging it, and it said order filled, and I'm like, order filled? So I thought, okay, I must have got filled at like 150, 175. I went over to my reports. Okay, I can do this at any time. Go down here. So right there was that first one, that stop out for 12.50. That's what I got stopped out at the other day, yesterday, 12.50 instead of like 150 or 175. So lesson learned. So if I'm going to drag and drop my stop, I need to drop it several ticks below, because I can't hit it while I'm dragging it, or it fills you at the last place that you had set it. Right? So that's something I didn't know, but I do know now. Okay, getting a lot of whipsaw. Like I said, I should have tried to have been quicker on the trigger. I might have been able to get 50 instead of that 12.50 there, but that's okay, right? That didn't hurt me. So we're still playing here with the 20, almost down to VWAP. I can also look over here. Okay, so I know right here, if we start to break below this, okay, we could see a drop back down to the trend line. If we get below 30, 57, 25 and hold it, right? But you see how it keeps coming down to it and bouncing? Where's it at? Right here, this level, 30, 57, 25. That is our support level, and it keeps coming down there and bouncing. Now really, there's not, huge numbers on either side, okay? So that means that price can, right, if a big buyer or a big seller comes in the market, it's going to push price quickly. So right after opening bell, I mean, we're obviously, let me see here, we're only 7 minutes into the trading session. Price is still going to be pretty volatile. Now we'll watch here, right? Because if it breaks below and starts to drop, let's look over here real quick. All right, then we know down here around 30, 46, 30, 48, okay, if it would start to drop. Trying to be very cautious here. Okay. I can keep dropping it. Okay, so it hit my stop, but if we come over here, go to reports, you'll see it was sort of 112.50 in 16 seconds. 16 seconds on that trade. Okay, so we'll take that. Now I expect, okay, if we come back over here, I expect that we may be able to get down here. Okay, but right here, see this? See how we had a little rally, rest, and then rally? Okay, you could catch and see where it has caught some support. All right, now that might not be permanent. It's only one candle. It's only one candle, okay? But you can see it's already acted as support. So you see how I trailed. I originally put my stop. I'd have to, we can see on the recording, I think I was either at like negative 737.50 or 25. As soon as price went my way, I moved it to even, then to 12.50, and then to whatever it was. I just kept trailing it down, but staying a few ticks below where current price was. And then obviously when it got here, it kind of bounced back against me, but I was able to stop out. Isn't that awesome? Stop out for $112.50. And again, I'll show you just so you can see. Okay, $112.50 in 16 seconds. 16 seconds. And that one earlier was 12 seconds for $12.50, but I really should have got 50 out of that. I was quick, I was slow. All right, so we bounced right there. Okay, and that makes sense. But I'm still, right now, obviously we're not back up above. We know that 30.57.25 is the level. We're not back up above there yet. So now I'm just patient. And if something, if I like something, let's look at the 5 minute. Okay, there's the 5 minute. And we're not 15 minutes in yet. So really it's just the 5 and the 30. Come back over here. Okay, I'm going to go back to Thinkorswim for just a second. Okay, again, you notice if I put the cursor, look where we bounced. Right here. That's why we look for obstacles. Okay, so now, until something changes, we're trapped in between this level and this level right here. If this level would break to the downside, we would expect possible support on this trend line because we've seen it in the past. If we start going back up, okay, really the sky's the limit. Look at this here. Okay, other than this wick, man, that's lined up for a big move to the upside should we get back up above opening price. And those of you, obviously, from my premium room, which is soon to be just one room, right? As of July 1st, we're going to go back to just everything is free, which was the original goal for Grayson and I. There's a lot of time and expense and effort to running a service like this. That was the only reason we started the premium room in the first place. But it consumes so much of my time to have to go back and forth. And plus we have YouTube and we have social media and my own individual trading and just all these things that we decided we'll go back to everything being free, and we'll try to find like sponsors, or we'll eventually create maybe a voluntary donation button, and people who see value and benefit of the service we provide can just donate voluntarily, because we're not trying to get rich off of you guys. We want to help you guys make money, but at the same time, we don't want to incur tons of expense while we're doing that. If we could just get those expenses covered, that's really the main thing. Okay, still, as you can see, price trapped between here where it bounced, and now, what do they say? Support becomes resistance. Okay, we know it's been up here a couple of times already. So don't diddle in the middle. I've said that before. That's not mine. It's not original. That's from somebody from another trading service, a female trader, and she came up with that phrase years ago. Don't diddle in the middle. And if I remember it, again, I think it's somebody who works for John Carter at Simpler Trading. Okay, now it's trying to get back up above. We also have the 20 here. See this? And then we have opening price level. And we're closing in on the first 15 minutes. Obviously, however this candle looks when we get to 15 minutes is the first 15-minute candle. So you'll see that I flip back and forth between Thinkorswim and Trade of 8. I trade on Trade of 8. I do most of my analysis and charting on Thinkorswim just because it's more robust. So you'll see more things. I don't have VWAP on here because I don't trade on here. And really, I'm just sort of experimenting with VWAP. I know a lot of scalpers, professional scalpers, use VWAP. I did in the past, and then I went away, and then I tried it again, and then I went away, and I'm trying it again now. You don't get as many signals off of VWAP as you do the moving averages and support and resistance or supply and demand. But I do see some value in it. So I at least have it on my charts. I'll show you again. Let me come back over. Okay, so this dotted line, that is VWAP. That's where we're at right now. Okay, that's the volume weighted average price. Okay, so the only difference between VWAP and a moving average is it takes into account the volume at each price level, and then comes up with the calculation. And so this line, right? This line. So I'm just making something up. Obviously price has been as low as 30.51.75, but there might not have been very much volume at that level. There may have been tons of volume up around 30.57.25 to say 30.55.50. I'm just making that up. And then that's why your VWAP is up in here, right? And VWAP, I think, is calculated, the standard settings is calculated off the last 14 candles, if I remember right. So it will be all the price and all the volume on the last 14 candles, and that would give you this average. Okay, I've got messages over here, so if somebody messages me, I can see it. But right now, this session obviously is being recorded. This is not live in the room, but you guys will get to watch this later. But I do have it so I can see comments. So again, look at that. I was just guessing, but I said we were trapped between 30.55.50 and 30.57.25. Now it appears, let's see here. It appears it's trying to go lower. But again, I'm not super excited jumping back into anything right now because I know that we're trapped in between these two levels. And you've been watching it here with me. Obviously, this is recording, but when you watch it, you're going to see, how much price just keeps going up and down between these levels. I don't want any part of that, right? So far, I'm only taking 2 trades for less than 30 seconds and made $125 on good, solid, high probability trades. The first one, I should have got 50. I just didn't move my stop quick enough, and then I was worried I was going to get hit. Price came back and stopped me out at 12.50 profit. But you guys will see, if you looked at the DOM on the recording when it happened, price had moved in my favor, and if I would have been quicker, I could have moved my stop down to like $50. I mean, because think about it. If you only take, 10 trades in a day and get $50 each time, that's $500. right? Less your fees and commissions. On futures, there are fees and commissions. Obviously on some equities, depending on what platform you're on, they can be commission free. So right now I'm waiting to see, okay, can price come back, reclaim this and start to go higher, or can it break through here? And then I would be looking for it to drop down to possibly this level. Like, look right across here. This wick, okay? And then you got this trend line. And remember, there's nothing magical about this trend line. I already showed it to you once before. Okay, it's just where price has kind of been bouncing. All right, now we're getting back down there. So the low of this candle is 30.5175. So if I come back over here, let me get down here. Okay, that's that level right there. Okay, now just because it hits that, that's not where I would necessarily want to jump in, right? I would be looking at getting in a little bit below there, 3-4 ticks generally, because frequently it gets here and maybe even a tick or two below it, and then it bounces back up. And then it may come back down and try again, but I'm looking for probabilities. I'm looking to be safe and conservative, and I'll take a small loss or a small win, because it protects my capital, and then I'm trying to put myself in position for the bigger wins. You see, as it got close, right, just a second ago, that's why I flipped back over to this screen, because this is my trading screen. When it got down close here, what did it do? Boom, it bounced away $3 or $4. So if you go short trying to anticipate that, you get chopped up, right? Because it can bounce $3 or $4 on you. And again, if you're playing standard contract, every $1 is $50. So $3 is 150, $4 is 200 bucks, right? And it happens just like that. All right, let's look at this. Looking at some analysis by a friend of mine. He seems to think that we are going to bounce here. And let me look here. He thinks we're going to bounce here and head higher, which we very well may, right? It does appear that it's bouncing, but I'm following my rules. I don't follow other people's rules. Okay, and this guy I'm talking about, somebody I very, very much respect. But I still have to follow my rules, right? So he was taking this into account right here. Okay, and we knew that that was a likely area to see some support, but he is saying he believes we're going to bounce right here and go higher. All right, so we'll see if his analysis or theory is correct. Coming into the day, just based on what had happened since here, right? What did we say this was, 5:30 in the morning? We were trending down. I kind of thought we may go lower first, maybe even down to this level, but not necessarily, right? You don't have to always come all the way down around here before then bouncing and going higher, right? That's kind of, what I thought, but I don't trade on what I think, right? I trade on what I see. I trade on what price action says. So I've had 2 trades to the downside so far. I think they were both to the downside, right? All I got to do is look. No, this one was to the upside. This one was to the downside. So I've had trades both ways today. Right up here is all my trades, which is only 2 so far. All right. Okay, so now we're starting to get back above here. Now I'm going to start paying a little bit more attention if it remains above here. And we still got about a little over 6 minutes until this first 30-minute candle is done. Wouldn't be shocked. Okay, now obviously a lot of time to go here. Wouldn't be shocked to see it end up as either a hammer or something of that sort. Because you would think, right? You would think, again, we expected to see some support here. We got it. Then we were vacillating back and forth between this level and this level. You would think if the bears were in control, there was maybe some profit taking there, then they would have regrouped and tried to push lower, maybe even to here or so. So far, they haven't been able to do that. So far. Again, but I'm not trying to, that's why I haven't been in anything else but those 2 trades so far. I'm not trying to outguess what's going on. Okay, I'm going to let price action dictate that. And for those of you, I have put it in the room, okay, I tried to trade because I am a full-time scalper, day trader. I try to trade based off of probabilities, statistics, data. Okay, so I did an analysis on my trading from the month of May, which I posted in the room at simpletradinglife.com. Most of you who will watch this are in the room. But there may be some people who watch this that are not. My win rate was 57%, which is not terrible. It's not out of this world. Okay, I shoot for 60%. That's my goal. So 57% is not horrible. My wins compared to my losses were over 3-to-1, which is exactly what I shoot for, right? I shoot to be 3-to-1 or better on my reward to risk ratio. But the keys that I found from my data was about the times of day. So I make the majority of my profits between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. every morning. I make the overwhelming majority of my losses between 11 a.m. and noon Eastern time, which that was an eye-opener for me. Now this was May, okay, but that's 20 some days of trading. About 80% of all my losses came in that 1 hour of the day. My conclusion or my theory on that is because you have to be so intently focused, and sometimes I don't take the necessary breaks that I should. Your brain can only intently focus on something for about 25 to 30 minutes at a time at a high level. And then your level drops of your focus and your decision-making ability. They've done studies on it. If you're involved in anything, not just trading, anything that requires intent focus for long periods of time, they recommend that about every 25 to 30 minutes, you take about a 5-minute break, 5 to 10 minutes, whatever's good for you, just to get away from the screen, maybe, do some exercises, stretch, get something to drink. Now I typically have something to drink while I'm trading, staying hydrated. But you see it's starting to move up a little bit. But for people like us, okay, when I say like us, day traders, scalpers, traders in general that spend a lot of time intently staring at the screen and having to make good decisions, they say you should take breaks at least 5 minutes every 25 to 30 minutes. So I have not been doing that like I should lately. So my conclusion is that one of the reasons I'm making 80% of my losses in that 1 hour of the day is because I'm typically trading between 9 to about 11:30 or noon each day, and I'm probably getting mentally tired. And I'm not seeing things as clearly as I should. And so I make mistakes between that hour. All right? Then my next most profitable time of the day is between 2 and 3 p.m. That's where I make the majority of the rest of my profits. And then my next worst time of the day is between 3 and 4 p.m. And I'll bet you it only separates it by hour, but I'll almost bet you it would be that last 30 minutes, which I don't trade that much. But if you do, and I've told you guys before, I don't recommend it. There is a lot of opportunity because it gets very volatile, but it's also heavily manipulated. And you'll see a lot of whipsaw back and forth during that last 15 to 30 minutes, especially the last 15 minutes. So my conclusion is that for the month of June, I'm trying to trade between 9:15 and 11 a.m. and 2 to 3:15 p.m. And unless I'm already in a trade, I don't want to trade outside of those hours. So I want to do that for the month of June and then compare my statistics, compare the data. All right? So the hope would be cut out more losses, increase the win rate, increase the reward to risk ratio, where my winners would be even bigger than 3-to-1 to my losers. But I'll take 3-to-1 any day of the week. And then hopefully also not have as much mental fatigue. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. But if you want to be a full-time trader, and there we go. We just got our switch. Okay, starting a new candle. Starting up first. Always be careful. The start of a new candle, especially on, say, a 30-minute or an hourly, sometimes will start to go one direction really quickly, and then it'll reverse and go the other way. So just be careful. Doesn't always, right? Like right down here, look at this. I mean, it pretty much started and just boom, blasted to the top. Okay, but got that 20 right there. You see it quickly went up to the 20. So we did get a hammer that we talked about. Now, if it gets through the 20 and then takes out the top of this, then I'm interested again, right? Then I'm interested again. Let's look here. The high of this candle is 30.63. So I would be more excited around 30.63.75 to 30.64, right in there. Okay, so really, we're a half hour in. I should be taking a 5-minute break here. Now I'm being recorded, so if I get up and do some stretching or walk into the other room, get a glass of water or something, I'm actually drinking hot chocolate, believe it or not, and it'll be like 80-some degrees today. But I hadn't had hot chocolate in a while. Just thought it sounded good. Trying to push higher here. I'm going to come back over to my screen here. Okay, what did I say? 30.63.75 is where I might be interested to the upside. Okay, so we know this candle, the high is 30.63. So I don't want to get in before that, right? Because it may come up here and then reverse and start heading back down. And I also don't want to get in just a tick or two above, same thing. Okay, I want to be 3 to 4 ticks above as long as these levels are up here aren't exorbitantly big. Because if they are, it could be a potential wall. And what we mean is there can be such a large number of orders that they can't be filled. And obviously then that turns price the other direction. But you can't just go by that as as one thing. Now, obviously there are people, right? Order flow traders, people that trade the tape, you know, there's a bunch of different names for them that only trade based off of that. But those numbers can be manipulated and are manipulated. I shouldn't even just say can be, they are manipulated. Okay, I'm watching here, watching. Okay, right in here is where I might be interested. Okay, as of right now, we haven't been able to get up above to take out the hammer. So I hope everybody who's watching this recording of this live trading session, I hope you can see how much patience is involved. Even though I've actually taken 2 trades that totaled about 30 seconds, there is a ton of patience involved. Okay, see the bigger numbers right here. Okay, right here. Not huge, but bigger. That's one of the reasons I was saying that I'm more interested in getting in up in here. Okay, because price might get up here. Okay, right here is the top of that hammer. Price might get up here and then all of a sudden reverse back down, like $2 or $3. Then it may make another attempt and then it may eventually get through. Or it may get up here and there are buyers waiting in the wings. There can be hidden, right? Hidden buyers. And then price just accelerates to the upside. But scalping and day trading in general takes a lot of discipline, a lot of focus, a lot of patience. I talk about that all the time, don't I? Right? Those 3 things: discipline, focus, and patience. Apologize for the silence, but there's just right now not a whole lot going on. Okay, you'll see price is trying to move up there again. You see it's also building at this level, which is 64. That's common because it's a round number. Your whole numbers, you know, 63, 64, 65, so on and so forth. Typically, you're going to have more orders at those levels. A lot of it is psychological. So even based on that, okay, this might be a better entry. 306425 possibly. Little bit concerned here. See this? So right around 66. Because this is on the 30-minute, right? So price keeps getting right up to the top. Remember what I told you, right? Remember what I told you. It'll get right up to the top, and then it starts to vacillate, and then sometimes it pokes down a couple of bucks, So I don't want any part of that, right? Sometimes that can happen before you can even get your stop set. Okay, moving up near the top. Remember, this is the top of that candle right here, 3063. Come over here and look and see what the 5 minutes are doing. Okay, 5 minute has just been green, 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 green. And then right now you see this is the 5 minute, the 20 and the 200 and VWAP are all pretty much together. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense on why it's sort of stalled out right here, right now. So let's see here. We're about 10, almost 10 minutes into this new candle. But still nothing going on. So you can see that's why I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry to do anything. Okay, we're right there at opening price level 2. Let me update the room real quick. Try to keep them updated on what the overall market is doing. Okay, that's because the overall market is so important for everything. Not just if you're trading it. It's so important for what everything else is doing as well. Okay, there we go. All right. And let me look here. Opening price level, I believe, was 62.25. 62.25. So not only do we have the high of this candle at 63, opening price level was at 30.62.25. Getting a little downside movement here. Again, not anything that I'm interested in right now. Now, if this starts to go red and starts pushing down, okay, that could be something we look at. Because that could be, right, that could be an indication that buyers came in here at this level, which makes sense because of this strong move up from earlier today, tried to push higher and were not able to, and sellers, but bears, are coming back in and trying to reestablish control to drive us lower. Now look down here, see this? 708 at 3058. All right. Now if we get down there, then that would be interesting to see, okay, what happens. This is what you want to look for on the DOM. Something that's abnormal. Okay, now in theory, this can be a wall, right? But are those real orders? That's what we don't know. And are there hidden buyers or sellers, that can be hidden sellers too, that we don't know about, right? So if this comes down here and this remains at that number, you see how much bigger it is than anything else on the screen. The theory is that price probably can't get through there and could reverse and start heading back up. However, I saw this a few days ago. Same exact scenario where we had levels where there was like 500 to 600 orders when nothing else on the screen was even in the 200s, and price got to those levels and those orders just disappeared. So were they pulled, or was there hidden buyers and sellers, so on and so forth, ready to just gobble stuff up? See that, 772. It's a big number compared to anything else on the screen. So right now, nothing to do. There's nothing to do unless we see this up here get taken out, or this number. Now, this is where you could get interested, right? Like I said, if this goes red and starts to push down, that may be a sign that bears are coming back in to try to take control, but you would have to see this number get taken out, right? You'd have to see that number get taken out. Now, some of the ways that this can be manipulated, I've talked about this before, but here's a prime example. So we've seen the bulls really push up from here, okay? A lot of buying pressure, and they pushed up. Now, price could not get over here, okay? Kind of came down to here, and we know what's sitting at this level, right? 700 and some odd orders. Is that, okay, this is how it can be manipulated. Is that some bull who's put all those put those orders in there, has no intention of actually executing them, to make people think there's no sense in trying to drive it down lower to continue price higher? But if they do get down there, they just pull the orders. Okay? Now, I've been reading up on that. Is it legal? From what I can understand, institutions are not allowed to do that. Okay, that it's illegal for them. Is a private individual who has that type of money, obviously it would take a ton of money to have that many orders, right? Is a private individual able to do that? I don't know, right? I don't know that for sure. From the research I did, it said it happens all the time though, right? So whether an individual can do it, institutions are not supposed to be allowed to do it. But again, do they do it? That's very possible. Okay. So we're okay. Price is trying to make a move higher. Now look at this. Now that we've crossed this number, look how this has grown. Okay, there's definitely people that do not want to see price go back down. Legit or maybe not legit. But there are people that definitely do not want to see price go back down. So if we look at these numbers compared to these numbers, other than this and other than that level at 30.58, you know, they're somewhat in line, right? There's sort of some equilibrium there. But then you've got this number and then the one at 30.58 that are just out of the ordinary large compared to everything else. I'd almost like to see price get right down here and see if these disappear or not. It might not happen though. Now, traders that, you know, trade off of the philosophy of they watch these numbers, okay, a lot of them, when price was down in here, they were going long no matter what. Okay, because they believe this is a wall because it's so much larger than everything else. And it very well could be, right? It could be. I'm still watching up in here. If we break the top of this, I'm not going to get in right on the break. I would want to see it up around in here. Okay, we know that the top of the candle is here. So far we've been up to it a couple of times, but then it's turned around and headed lower. But obviously it's having a hard time going lower because of this. Oh. Okay, now it's trying to go, trying to get up there. Okay, I'm in. Okay, so I got stopped out for, I believe, 50. I'm a little bit worried about this right there, so I'm not super concerned. Let's see. Yep, 50 bucks, 15 seconds. See that? Okay, so far 3 trades, 3 winners, all high probability trades. Okay, now you see right here, it would make sense that we would see some resistance because that was a drop, base, drop. If we would take this out, okay, what's the high there? 30.69.50. Let's get up here. That's here. Okay, I'll have to see when price gets up here. If it does, I'll have to see what these look like. All right, so hopefully you guys saw everything I was looking at and the reason I entered where I did, and you saw how I moved my stop. I placed it down below, I moved it up to break even, I moved it in a little bit, moved it up to 50, price came down and stopped me out. Absolutely fine. Super high probability play. I waited, okay, come back down here again. This was the top of the candle. We had some bigger numbers right in here, so I waited until here to get in, right? And then obviously I exited up here because what happened is I set my stop just below, and as price moved away, I moved up, and then I moved up to, I think it was here, was 50, and it came down and stopped me out, 50 bucks, 15 seconds. But do you guys understand the probability of the trade? You see why I was so patient, right? And did you see how price, I said, okay, this would be the obstacle right here. Other than this is set up for a nice upside move, right? So I am interested if we can break above here, get back up in here and maybe go higher, because why? It would just be structure, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And if we make another higher high, that's continuing upwards. I've seen some people out there today predicting 31.30 for the day. I don't predict anything. So let's see here. I'm answering a comment. All right, there we go. Okay, so we're right back up here again. And thank you for being patient, trying to answer questions. We're right back up here again. But I'm interested, okay, again, the high is 3069.50, which that's up here. When or if price gets up here, I want to see what do these look like 3 or 4 ticks above it. Up in, let's see, 50, so 1, 2, 3, so kind of up in here, these ticks, if price gets up there. Let's see where we're at. We are at 10:24. So we got just a little over 5 minutes on this 30-minute candle. And you guys have been watching so far today and I'm doing everything off the 30-minute, although I am looking at the 5. Okay, here's the 5. Okay, remember I said all this congestion here, okay, and then it started to go higher. Okay, just started a new 5-minute. Okay, here's the 15. The 15 is actually right up to its 20 SMA, which makes sense. Look, all right, see the little pivot there? And then we can come back over to the 30. And the 30, again, I'm looking up here because I'm looking for the highest probability play. I said 30, 69, 50. Okay, so that's the top right there. We're not even up to it yet. Okay, current price is this yellow down here. Okay, and then if we break this right up here around 3073 to 3073.50 would be the next key, right? And then if we break through there, then we might be able to really get going. Okay, let me scroll back. Squeeze this down. Come back over. Okay, so if we get through there, then we're looking at possibly getting up here to 3095. I don't know why it says 07. It should just be 3095. Let me change that. Probably something I hit. Okay, and then if it got above there, now you're talking about 3112 and up in here to the top of this expanding range. All right, so I just kind of brought the view back in a little bit closer. You see this? You see the struggle that it's having right in here? Been up to it a couple of times. We know right there is the top of this candle. So we just wait to see, are we going to get up there anywhere near it? And if we do, and we break, what do these numbers look like above it? Okay, you see there's some numbers starting to build here. 68, 50. So let's see, as price gets up there, does the number go up or down, or does it just disappear? Also numbers building at 69, which makes sense. Makes more sense to see it build at an even number. So this number is almost up to 400 already. There it is, 400 at this level. Okay, so obviously that number building there. Okay, now this number is also starting to build. Okay, that's telling us they're trying to sort of form a wall there. And all we mean when I say a wall is that that could be a place where they're trying to overwhelm the aggressive buyers trying to take it up, and they want it to go back down. Got less than 30 seconds on this candle. Nice candle. Okay. Took the breakout there. Okay, we're up below it. Okay. See how the number went from like 390s down into the hundreds. And it's almost through it. Okay, here it goes. It's trying to move. 50. Okay, a little bit there. I'm a little bit more interested up here. Okay, got up to those higher numbers. All right, we know that's the top of the candle. Okay, that's not an exorbitantly high number. This number's a little bit high. All right, so again, I would be more interested up in here. That's a full 4 ticks above the top of this wick. This number continues to grow here, which is 2 ticks above the top. So you got a bigger number here and a bigger number here. That's why I am not interested on just a break, right? I want to see it get like up to here. It could also be very possible, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, it could also be very possible that we get a resting candle here. Now I'm on the 30-minute though. I'm on the 30-minute, but obviously resting candles, right? Right here, right here. Okay, resting candles can happen on any time frame. No matter what though, I'm going to stick to my rules. So unless I'm in a trade, I will not be taking a trade after 11 a.m. Right? So that's 28 minutes from now. But at the same time, I am in absolutely no hurry to jump into a trade. Unless some kind of news or something comes out, I really don't think we're going to see a big downside movement, but I am also not watching. Let's flip over to Twitter here. Let's just make sure no news is coming out. Nope, don't see anything. Don't see anything out of the ordinary. Let's flip back over here. The answers are pretty high, okay? Although that's to be expected, right? Because we had so much upside movement overnight, even though coming in we were kind of trending down, the overall move was to the upside overnight. So we would have had a lot of gap ups this morning. So this number being high. Now, if we see this number start to drop or it start to go up, that could be a precursor that a move is about to happen. Okay, it does look like it's feeling a little bit heavy, doesn't it? Let's look down here. I mean, nothing that really says it's possible it could come back down to right about where the 20 is. Okay, I'm not feeling super comfortable that I want to jump into this though. And then there's a big number right here. See it? 600 and something. Okay, you guys know me. I'm super conservative. And I may, occasionally miss out on something. Right, so if this does just get heavy and come down and maybe it gets back down to the 20 before, I might miss it, right? I do see this right here. You got to remember too, if big money believes that there are too many retail traders in the way, price can get a little whippy. Okay, so here's what we were doing. Okay, then we came down, and from here, right, up to here, well, that was about $16 move to the upside. Everybody starts feeling good again. Everybody starts going long. Big money comes in, tries to drive the price down a little bit. Okay, once it goes down more than a few bucks, retail starts getting scared. They start selling. And if big money really wants the move to continue to the upside, they just want to get retail out of the way. You always hear the terms dumb money and smart money, right? Smart money is the institutions, and dumb money is typically the retail traders because they get spooked easy. Easy. Okay, now it's starting to push back up again. This is one of those days I'm like ultra cautious, right? Ultra cautious. Again, if I come back over here, right, it'll show you $175 on 3 trades, not one of which has been over 16 seconds. Okay? Got to learn to be content with the high probability plays. Can't stress that enough. Okay? So maybe some days that's only $100, couple $100, whatever. Other days that might be $500 or $1,000 or something crazy. Okay, but you can't expect that kind of money. In Trading in the Zone, what's Mark Douglas talk about is you shouldn't have any expectations other than something is about to happen, right? There is going to be an outcome, but you don't know what it's going to be. Now, obviously, we have edges for a reason, right? We have strategies for a reason because we're trying to put the probabilities in our favor. But he says, he tries to teach traders. Now, obviously, he's passed away. Back then, he was a trading coach and mentor and trading psychology expert. He tried to teach traders, you shouldn't have expectations. Even if the setup looks great, even if you think everything's going in your favor, your only expectation is that something is going to happen. There's going to be an outcome, but you don't know what it is. Every individual outcome is random. It's only over a series of trades that your edge can play out. And I hope through these recorded sessions, and at some point here in the very near future, we may start just absolutely doing these live on YouTube where anybody can watch. But again, there won't be, I'll talk. I'll tell you what I see. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll tell you why I'm doing something, obstacles, things like that. But when I'm trading, I can't have a back and forth dialogue. Because there will be chat and there'll be people, hey, what about this? Or why didn't you take that? Or hey, you missed this move. Or hey, whatever. I can't be going back and forth while I'm trading. The benefit is that you can watch what I'm doing and you can listen to me verbalize what's running through my mind, why I'm taking certain trades, why I'm not taking other trades, where I think the highest probabilities are. Okay, just like this morning, obviously you can see 3 trades for basically a total of about 45 seconds. I've only been in trades for about 45 seconds. And we are now already over an hour in, right? We got about 20 more minutes to 11, and that's when I'm cutting it off, unless I'm in a trade. Okay, at 11, I'm cutting it off because of what we already talked about. My data from May showed that my weakest part of the day was between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. And I don't normally trade much. Occasionally I do, but almost never. Between 12 and 2, I call that the dead zone, okay? Because volume dries up, things get choppy. You can have big moves during those hours. I'm not saying you can't, but typically it's a tough time to trade. Okay, so price again trying to make a move lower. Now remember, we got this big number down here, and we've got a number that's growing here. Okay, this number's starting to grow. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? But it can. Okay, we just watch. All right, so each time that it started trying to go lower, it's actually come back up into this area. I was looking while we've been on here. I was one of the times I was on my phone. I saw somebody else that I follow on Twitter that I actually know personally that's a good trader. So just like the one guy was saying we were likely to go higher, and somebody had thrown out a number of like 3130. This other guy that I know, he thinks that there's actually some weakness in the market, right? And basically, if we don't get through kind of up where we're at now or up in here, he sees it actually going down the other direction. Okay, is that possible? Sure, right? We could come up here and double top, not even make it there, right? Not even make it through this level right here, and then start going lower. So that's possible too. The reason I bring that up is I just want to reinforce why I trade price action and why in the Simple Trading Life community I teach price action trading. We trade what we see. We trade what price action tells us. We don't try to guess. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do analysis. You should, right? You should have an idea of what makes sense. But just because something seems to make sense on a chart, remember what trading truly is. It is the sentiment of a group of traders, whether that's institutions or huge numbers of retail traders, a group psychology, a group sentiment on their perception of what's going on, not reality, right? If the market traded on reality, we'd be at like huge lows right now, right? Because the economy is terrible. There's civil unrest in the United States. COVID-19, businesses going bankrupt, people out of work, people don't have money for basic necessities, things like that. If the market traded on reality, we would be much, much lower than where we're at now. Okay, the market trades on perception, and it's based on group mentality, group psychology. So as a trader, trading price action, you're always trying to zero in on what is being perceived in the market, right? At any given moment. Let me specify that. At any given moment, because it can change. And for those of you who might not know, this red line and this green line are the low and the high of this particular trading session. Okay, here we go. We're down to this big number, and you see it just disappeared. It just absolutely disappeared. So you can't go by it. That's why I try to keep telling people you can't go by those numbers. It got down to it, it absolutely disappeared. Was that somebody pulling them, or did they just get gobbled up that fast? Okay, watching here. Let me come back over here. Okay, so we're back down to opening price level, which is 3062.25. So I got to know that that is opening price level, right? So if we get below that, we know we have the 20 in VWAP. Let's also go to Twitter real quick, make sure there was no news. You're usually going to see it in a couple of the first case. Okay, worst case scenario, Donald Trump acts on his threat to use military force. I don't think that is it, though. There's the president tweeting. Nope, I don't see anything that necessarily caused that particular move. Okay, so we know this is important right here. If it gets through there, okay, there's a possibility of getting back down to here. $30.625.25, we're below it. I'm going to try, I think. Let's see. Let me look for any numbers there. Just a little bit nervous. I'm going to go ahead.
Order filled. Stop filled.
Okay. Got stopped out at even. That's okay. Nothing really big here. And we are still below.
Order filled. Stop filled.
No, got stopped out.
Order filled. Stop filled.
No, keep getting stopped out. Okay, so I got to stop. Thought we were going to see a drop right there. Let's go back over here. There's no super huge numbers down in here. We got a little bit of a big number, but remember, this level was at like 700 and something at one time. So we know 305725 is our next support level. I want to show you guys what happened there, just so you can see. Okay, there were the stop outs, right there. Okay, even 3750, 3750, which that is my target, 3750. I don't like them to be bigger than that. Okay, so let's go back over. We know that this is the support level right here.
Order filled. Stop filled.
Okay, got stopped out, but it was at least positive. Come back over here real quick. Okay, here, if we would take this out, 3151.75, then we're looking down here. Okay, so this wick right now is acting as an obstacle. And while that's settling in, I'll show you. There was the stop out for 1250 in the positive. So as soon as I start it below, usually right around 3750 or so, and as soon as it starts to go my way, I try to get it to at least break even or slightly into profit. That way, if I get stopped out, I'm not actually losing anything. All right, so here's my trade so far: 1250, 11250, 50, negative 3750, negative 3750, and 1250. Now we also know that this level right here, acted as support earlier. So we got to be aware of that. Okay, now we're back up above. We know 3057.25. That is the level. It was support. We got below it. Then we look for it to be resistance. Okay, right now it's not. What we mean by it's not is it's above it right now. All right, now that doesn't mean that it's going to hold. Okay, doesn't mean that it's going to hold. Okay, most of these numbers are pretty equal on both sides. Got about 6 minutes left on this 30-minute candle. See what the 5-minute looks like. Okay, 5 minute right here caught caught support. Okay, which was a pivot. About 10 seconds. We're going to see what this 5 minute candle does. A little bit concerned about this right here. You got VWAP and the 20. This could be like a move here and then lower. So I'm just watching. Again, the numbers are fairly equal. So if one side wants to try to overwhelm the other side, it's possible, right? Okay, see this? We're watching for it to maybe come up here and then look to go lower. The 30 again real quick. Okay. Back to the 5. Okay, what I'm watching for here is this going to come up and then reject here and start to go lower again. Got this little bit larger number at 39.50. Up here we got a little bit of a bigger number at 30.62.50, which I believe is opening price level. Yep, 30.62.25. Okay, so right up in here is opening price level. And we also got VWAP there. So what we could be looking for here is a break, retest, and go. But if it gets through, obviously it could start going this way, right? Because we had a move up, move down, higher high, higher low, and could it move back up for another higher high? So we're right there. We're right there where I said we're looking to see, is it going to just test this and move lower, or are we going to try to break through and go higher? Looking at this level here, obviously we're looking at that level here. Oh. Got about 1 minute left on this candle. Okay, are we getting the rejection? Okay, guys, it is 11 a.m. Okay, so following my rules, I am done until at least 2 p.m. So let me go back over here. Okay, there are the trades I took today. Okay, as you guys can see, none of them were longer than 16 seconds. I'm very happy that these worked out exactly the way I want them. I get in, I immediately try to put it right around 37.50. Don't like my losses to be bigger than that. Those are small, right? So if I come back up here, this is what I made on the day so far, 112.50, 57%, which is exactly what I was last month. But obviously this is still early. And again, there are the trades. So hopefully this recording, I'll do a couple of these and then we might start doing this live every morning, at least from 9:15 to 11. And you guys, again, can see what runs through my mind. Not every trade is this short. Okay, sometimes a trade lasts several minutes. Sometimes a trade may last 15, 20, 30 minutes. Just depends on what's going on. Is it going my direction? Am I just trailing it down or trailing it up? But this is scalping, right? And you take what the market gives you. So 112.50 is what it gave this morning. Basically, I didn't start this morning until 9:30. So in 90 minutes, that's what it gave, right? And I don't look at these as negatives. I look at these as positives because I didn't let anything go against me. Okay, 37.50 I can live with, right? It's only 3 ticks. And you know, the only one that I wish I would have had back is this one here because I could have moved my stop to 50, right? But that's only the difference of what, 37.50. That's not huge, and it was a positive trade. So hopefully this helped everybody, and we'll try to do this more every day. You can see prices moving down, and you can learn from this. So thank you for joining me. This is Scott G with the Simple Trading Life, simpletradinglife.com. Everything we have now is going to be free, so definitely check us out and join us in our Discord room, and definitely like and subscribe and turn on your notifications bell on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.